Welcome, good evening, and hello to Weave the Tale One-Shot Wednesdays. Tonight, it's going to be my esteemed pleasure to run these incredible people through an exploration of the world of Glorantha and some of what it has to offer. I'm Staffan, known as RqStaffan on the interwebs, and when I'm not on here, I can normally be found lurking in the Discord. So if anybody ever has any Glorantha questions or thoughts, feel free to give me a ping. Now, let's go around and see who my intrepid explorers are. So, starting off with Vanna, I believe.
Yes, that's me. Hey, I'm Anna, aka ArchivalDustbun, most places on the internet, queer and trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG streamer and podcaster. And tonight I am playing Yanioth, Verina's daughter. She is an initiate of Ernalda, the Earth Goddess. She is a dancer and doesn't wear armor, which I'm not worried about at all tonight. We're going to see how this goes in this system. But she's a big magic user, and if we get lucky, she's going to stomp people with an earth elemental. But we'll see how the night goes.
Wonderful. I'm sure it'll be perfectly safe. Prain.
Hey everyone, it's me, Anthony. You can find me on Twitter at Prainntheplague. I'm really excited to be playing Runequest. I was DMing it or jamming it before for a duck game that Anna was in, and that was wonderful. But now I get to be playing it, and I'm really excited about that. I'm playing, I'm playing Harmast, who is the same name as his father, and he's an Ernaldori clan member of the Colomer tribe. He's kind of a warrior, he's kind of like a privileged starterite, but he's leaving that privilege behind. He's committed a crime in the lands that he now resides. So most of the people in the village are not very much a fan of this wealthy farmer out in the boonies, but let's see what kind of antics he gets up to.
I'm sure they'll be greeted gratefully. Nikki.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I am the creator of Beholdertonoone and the soon-to-be-released Dice Before Dawn, and I'm playing Narres Runepainter, who is part of the clan the Vulture Eagle clan, and she just wants to make sure that you are respecting the dead and screw the authorities.
Well, we'll see if she ends up paying the bar bill by the end of the night.
Nope, not it.
By no means least, Whatiskiss.
Hey everyone, it's me, Whatiskiss, aka Nathaniel Kiss. I am a producer, a tabletop player, and a man of many hats. I'm here playing Dazarim, Crescentblade, a bandit of the sands. I got myself a sable antelope, and I'm ready to make some friends.
Well, what better place to
too? Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
My favorite sword is a copis. That's all. That's the only part I have left.
Ah, yes, the worshipper of the sun in a land of windbag. Oh, sorry, middle air worshippers. The sort of thing that happens when weather occasionally strikes towards the end of the year. We find ourselves. I can find my note. There we go. We find ourselves on Waterday of God Week of Sacred Time. So we're in the last of the 2 weeks of Sacred Time, which is the time between the years in Glorantha as the world is ritually remade in a new image every year, having gone through the the prior 6 seasons of its existence, mirroring the time of the god time, the time, before things came to a almost sticky end. However, we find that a very disparate group of people have ended up in the Good Haven Inn. It's a inn with a surrounding Tula of about 150 people, on the edge between a vast swamp over on the west side of its lands that is ruled by a despotic and ancient zombie dragon, and the peaks of the Quiven Mountains towering on the eastern horizon, holding the lands and the breezes of the air gods that are mostly worshipped in these lands. You're through various means, mostly due to weather. Generally, the time leading up to Sacred Time is very windy and rainy in this part of the world. However, this year, as travelers, you were caught out by a late season snowfall that lasted about 10 days and dumped about 1.5 meters of snow through the passes. And thus you found yourself making the celebrations at the year's end together. Some of you know each other as battle comrades. Others of you have basically had a chance over the last 2 or 3 weeks to get to know each other a bit, as well as striking up some acquaintances with the people of the Tula, as you've participated in the reforging rites, because just because you're not at your various homesteads or your home cities doesn't abrogate you from your responsibilities as inhabitants of the world to make sure that there will be another year. As such, you have but a few days ago gone through the travails of the I Fought, We Won war, where every adult in the world basically fights their own personal fight against the impending forces of chaos. Some of you succeeded, some of you less so. However, due to the mystic nature of the events, even if you were felled in your own personal fight this twixt year, you were brought back to full, hale, and hearty health by the magics of Secret Healing Day. As the world is remade, so were you. And you are gathered together basically on this morning, sitting down at the bar of the inn, and enjoying, or not, breakfast, where I will turn the table over to the explorers.
Well, I will definitely ask for a hearty breakfast and some ale. Just one glass, though, because I know it's 9 a.m.
It's 8 o'clock somewhere.
It's 8 o'clock somewhere, exactly. And I just look at the others. It's like, do you have a plan today?
I think it's definitely at this moment that Yanioth, who slept in late, just comes sweeping into the room. Is making a show of an entrance, as she always does, and just kind of slides into the bench seating at the table. Good morning, everyone. Harmast, you look like shit this morning.
Harmast looks over, kind of awakens from his drunken stupor, kind of sitting, wasting his away his life at the Grey Dog Inn, just like he always does, and says, "What, Yanioth? What is that? Am I double vision? Is it just? Am I drinking again? Is it last night or this morning? Are you real?"
It's this morning.
It's the morning currently, but I don't know if it's still last night for you. Have you slept?
No, I guess I haven't. It's water day though, so I should probably get me some. I might ask for a stein of water.
Only once a week, water.
And the barkeep will indeed bring forth some cool, fresh mountain stream water, as well as some of the renowned and world famous all over Sartar Grey Dog Ale, which is indeed the specialty of this particular barn lister inn.
Perfection, thank you.
As soon as the beverages have made their way to the group's table, Dazarim is going to come back in after waking up very early to brush their antelope, which they need to do 1,000 brushes to keep that coat a nice and stellar sable. And I guess without saying a word, just a very silent nod to no one in particular, just the group. Dazarim goes over, picks up a flagon or a mug of water, and just slowly soaks down into a nice brooding position as they start drinking.
And as you're all sitting quietly, trying to overcome that feeling that some of the lateness of the hour of last night's celebrations have carried over into the morning, I would like you all to pop over to the skills section on your character sheet, and underneath the perception portion in the approximate middle, press the die by the scan skill.
Ooh. 17 under 30.
So Dazarim. So Dazarim.
That's a failure.
Oh yeah. Only just though. Yeah, pity we're not in Call of Cthulhu with luck, but that's fine. Dazarim, you're sitting hunched over at just one corner of the long table with the slide-in benches. So you happen to glance down, and you've got a line of sight out of the doorway as it happens. And you're not entirely sure, but you could have sworn that you just saw a skeletal rabbit, or maybe it was a hare, difficult to tell, hop into the doorway, turn, look straight at you, and then hop away into the snowbanks on the side.
Was it skeletal or did it have hair?
It was skeletal.
Kidding. Yes. Um, uh, is this
The hair was
something
bare.
that is? Is this something that is common? I know Dazarim has seen everything from one end of the Praxis Desert to the other. It's not the Praxis Desert. It is now. Is this something that is common or generally not too awe-inspiring?
You would rate it up there as most unusual. It's
Again,
very
with the
rare
silent.
skeletal beings to be wandering around, and it's generally not something that you would see outside of very specialized graveyards.
Again, with the silent nod to the group, Dazarim's gonna gesture over towards the door. Does anyone else see that over there?
I haven't seen anything.
And Dazarim's going to do his best to bring their attention towards the direction of the small skeletal lapin, or the direction that it's going, or the direction that it's heading, or where it was coming from.
Skeletal, have you been drinking with Harmast again?
You know I don't drink. Unless...
That's what I thought.
I'll be right back. Dazarim will get up and head out to the snowbank, see if I can follow any footprints.
Be careful, Dazarim.
It's already dead.
Out of curiosity, I'll follow.
Okay. So Yanioth and Dazarim, would you please roll the track roll?
I was also going.
Oh, sorry. Narres as well. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not good at that one.
78 over 45.
A failure again.
I don't know how I rolled a success on this. I only have a 10.
Well,
Nice gods like you today.
were this a not a one shot? I would say. Well, you can anyhow. Feel free to tick the skill to remember that you can increase it possibly later. In fact, given that skill, there's every possibility that it would increase. It's you do notice some indentations into the snow that go about 3 or 4 hops before they just peter out and disappear, which is sort of odd because they're heading into the fairly deep snowdrift, so there's plenty of soft snow around, and they go into nowhere.
I'll point those tracks out to everyone. That's weird. I'll look up in the air. Do I see birds of prey or anything that could have grabbed it, or?
With a quick look or a glance over to Dazarim as the sun god representative of the group, and I mean they're well known for having things like man carrying hawks and so forth around it, do all sorts of mischief, but no, doesn't appear to be anything out. Maybe it's just too cold for the avian life to really be out and about.
It just disappears.
Perhaps it went
Dazarim's
under?
gonna walk.
Sorry.
Yeah, Dazarim's gonna walk up with this. Oh, you're fine. Join the comrades and actually start digging into the snow. But just scoop one hand in and pull up two fingers and just rub the snow between his fingers. Just like, yeah, this is snow, all right.
This is prime Sartar type 19 snow. Dry, flaky, just
Bet
like
it came
the
from those
soft
clouds
to
up there.
That is very astute of you this early in the morning.
Yes. Thank you for your knowledge.
You're
Any side of me.
interrupted in your reverie by a loud from behind you, and you turn around to see a rather tall, late 20s, quite burly, dark hair, thick beard, plenty of clan tattoos, male that you know as Langrok Stormcaster, who's the local Orlanthi Windlord Thane of Grey Dog Village itself, and is by extension essentially your host for your stay. He goes, so, our ale is perhaps not quite to your taste this breakfast. You're looking for a purer form of something to imbibe?
We wanted to...
Go ahead.
We wanted to have some fresh air.
Harmast responds much more violently. Listen, Storm Dog. All right, can you get me some good starterite liquor? You know, I'm stuck drinking this Orlanthi swill, and you know what? I know I'm here for crime, but come on, this is too much, right?
And
As much as I love to see you fight, let's calm it down a little bit this morning. Your ale was quite pleasant. We thought we saw something out here, but it seems to be nothing.
And Langrok will sigh deeply, well aware of the fact that he's declared guest right with each and every one of you, and it's therefore kind of bound as well as to what he can and can't get away with. And he values his honor well enough that he's he lets the storm blow over him, as it were, and turns back to Yanioth. After all, as a male, it's difficult not to turn back to Yanioth, and says, "Well, yes, thanks. I appreciate that gesture. It was perhaps fortunate that you had to deal with Danakos in the way that you did, and but I came over because, well, I have somewhat of a favor to ask. Perhaps if we go inside into the warmth of the hearth. Much as I enjoy the ministrations of the sweeping winds as much as anybody, he says, looking up into the skies. And motions. And he holds the door open and follows the four of you back inside. And sits himself down, calls for another tankard from the barkeep that is duly brought forward. And he says, well, you, I don't know, did you have occasion to meet Athrin Poorhands, our hunter? And sort of as background, it takes you a few moments, but you do recall a young man, barely out of his teens, wild blonde hair, rather exuberant, perhaps a little bit too fond at showing off his skills with a bow and arrow. Would generally have a few animal pelts hanging from a belt as he walked around the Tula. And as he mentions the name, you suddenly have the realization that you haven't seen him for a few days. And whilst it's the habit of various people to go off on various tasks and quests during the 2 weeks of sacred time, by now they're normally all returned. And indeed, Langrok bears out this suspicion as he says, I'm getting concerned that we haven't seen Athrin for a few days now. Normally he would have returned, but well, maybe it's just the wind in my bones making me see ghosts around corners where there aren't any.
Ghosts around corners, you say? Figure of speech,
yeah,
or literally?
Just figure of speech.
Because there was just a... Never mind, it wasn't a ghost. Unless...
I don't believe it was a ghost.
Out of the... We've traveled, so are we familiar with like each other's abilities or capabilities to some extent?
At least to some extent. I mean, some of you have been battle comrades for quite a while. Some of you have really only met up in the last couple of weeks or so, but even though the weather has been frightful, you would have seen each other perform either devotional rites or skill practices or just battle maneuvers out in the grass field and so forth. So you have a reasonable feel.
Is there anyone in the party that has any mystical or spiritual connection that can decipher or divinate the source or the type of creature and or magic something is.
So I'm gonna hide behind Dazarim for a second. Be like, listen, Dazarim, I'm scared. All right,
Yeah.
I deal with dead things, not undead things. That's too much. I look at Langrop and I'm like, I'm sorry. Okay, I was cranky. I woke up in your bar. It's actually really good ale, right? And I magically appear another stein in my hand, and I take a swig. And I'm like, okay. I'm gonna cast Divination, and I'm going to ask Humakt, the god of death, to give me a 10 words or less on what's going on with the thing that is not dead.
Okay, well, I think that means that you get to make a roll against your death rune in this case. Or, well, your choice. You can go for the death aspect and roll death rune, or you can go for the truth aspect and roll truth rune.
They are both 0 for me, so at least I'll go with death and stay true to the rune here. It was a 5,
Ooh.
and I got a 4.
Nice.
Okay,
Humakt,
Harmast.
what is your wisdom?
Harmast, the devoted Harmony and Isseries, god of the silver to golden tongue follower, decides to tie into the remnants of death that surrounds this place. And you're used to asking questions of mundanely various lords and princes, heads of other tribes, great traders, driving hard bargains against weird and wonderful creatures all over the lozenge. But even you're taken aback when, as you ask this question, you're suddenly surrounded by this oppressive, physically pressing darkness. And you have this sense of being surrounded by a multitude of beings, none of whom you can perceive. And you put forth your question into the void.
I feel the energy of so many around me.
They're all chanting, "We're not touching you. We're not touching you. We're not touching you."
No, you are touching. You are. It's like...
And almost dripping into your brain as though
Oh no.
drip fed molecule by molecule into your very being. It's just sort of coming up, seeping up through your spine as you feel eternity stretching out in front of you. You get the sense of the words, by the duty, agents of the dragon have R1s.
So I calmly take a look, tell Dazarim and Yanioth and Narres, listen, it's larger than a small creature or something that we feel prepared for. This is a whole different. This is too much for us, right? I
How
love
large are we speaking?
my deity, like large enough that I love the deity I worship, but I'm not in a rush to go meet them, if you know what I'm saying.
I have to agree with you on that.
You're muted.
Dazarim looks at Harmast right in the eye, and he says, "That creature out there, was that a darkness creature?"
I feel the taint of chaos.
I'll be right back. And Dazarim chugs the rest of his water, sets it down, and then heads back outside and just starts examining the snow.
Wait, where are you going?
If that kid is gone, that rabbit probably know where it took him. If it didn't take him itself.
We can't let you go by yourself.
You could, but you won't. And I appreciate that. Just don't slow me down.
I look at Narres and I'm like, let's go, Narres, before Yanioth and Dazarim leave us behind. And
I had a tattoo session later today, but okay. I will cancel it. Can you tell them that we have to cancel that tattoo session? Sorry.
I will. I was trying to get matching ones with you.
One says friend, the other one says friend. Well, it's supposed to get shipped, but it's friend.
I want the same tattoo as you. Okay.
Last time it just said ship.
And Langrok stands up as well. So, Harmast, I take it to understand you might have some thought on this? If there is something around the Tula, perhaps we should... Well, I wouldn't impose on you, but I will certainly have to, and I would appreciate, as ever, all the support I can muster. See if we can pick out Aranthwith's trail and mayhaps discover what has befallen.
Hey, Dazarim looks like he's got this under control, so I also trust Yanioth with my life, and Narres has some pretty amazing magic, so I'm willing to try.
Dazarim, as you lead outside with, there must be the thought of chaos, if not darkness, still abominational. And you head out. I'm presuming to pay some closer attention to these rather formless disappearing snow tracks. Or do you have something else in mind?
Actively trying to stop new flakes from coming over the flakes or the prints that have already been set. But really nothing beyond just examining the snow, hoping that something will either come to them, or I could try another track roll if the game allows.
Oh, absolutely. And there's all sorts of things that we can you could consider at this point. Dazarim is, after all, a member of a cult that has a tie to the Truth Rune. I haven't looked to see if he has anything specifically, but I would imagine
It's a big truth. There's a big truth in Dazarim.
Yeah.
He tells it like it is, and he likes to drink milk.
I would say you could use your Truth Rune to attempt to augment whether you would then like to do a scan, a search, or a track. I'd leave up to you. But that would seem to be not an unreasonable thing to do. So I will go ahead and have you roll your Truth Rune first.
Okay.
I have a question after that.
Absolutely.
I'll let him finish.
Any input values for modifiers?
No, just straight. Okay, that's a straight success. So that means that you will be at plus 20 on the whichever one of the looking for things rolls.
I'll do track again. 29 under 45.
Okay, and 29 out of 65 is still a straight success. We will park that there briefly. Yes, Anna. Yes, Yanioth. Sorry, Nikki.
I was wondering if I could use my death rune to sense the skeletal rabbit. I don't know if that's a possibility.
Ooh. Now we're cooking with gas. Absolutely. Basically, it would be a similar mechanic of using your death rune to augment however you feel like you want to express looking for the rabbit. So go ahead and roll your death rune, just a straight roll.
And I think I want to use search to try to see if I can find it, if that's possible.
Oh,
or
absolutely.
would it still be scan? Okay.
No, search is fine. Search is fine. So the death rune is good, so you're at plus 20%.
Okay. Search 75. 30 out of 75.
Okay. So, between the two of you, somewhat drawn by the almost by the spiritual emanations and the truth and the depth of what remains of this rabbit's bones, you dig into the snowdrift to find about another meter maybe or so into the snow, almost burrowed in, and snow collapsed on top, and then more snow fell on top. The remarkably clean and pristine set of the bones of a rabbit. So no traces of sinew or flesh, just completely clean, yet just enough of a texture that it's actual. You can tell that it's actual bone. And Narres particularly is no stranger to bone in its various forms and its various uses. So it seems genuine, as it were. Although, yeah,
It's
oddly
not moving.
pristine. No.
I will just pick it up then and hold it out and say, was this the one you saw?
And Dazarim does sort of the location corresponds, and it's about the right size of grouping of bones.
So, GM, is this a creature
Yep.
of darkness? I gotta know.
All
right.
No.
It's not.
No, it would be. There may be a taint of chaos to it, but your truth seems to suggest that this is indeed just, as it were, the calciferous parts of an ordinary rabbit.
Dazarim's quick or a fleeting feeling of bloodlust just comes over Dazarim upon getting a better look at it. Becomes completely disinterested in it. Just goes, oh. I'm just gonna go inside and finish breakfast then. Thanks for joining me, y'all.
Wait,
Good talk.
this seems pretty important.
It was, but
Regardless.
I guess I was mistaken.
If it moved, then something happened.
Yeah, you didn't just see this pile of bones. You saw a rabbit, right? That's... Even if it's nothing now, it was something.
I understand you're all trying to make me feel better because it's my birthday, but no need. I made a mistake. It's fine.
I mean, there is someone missing.
Yes.
That's their problem. The rabbit had nothing to do with it. Maybe.
We were supposed to go find him, no? But Harmast, you said that it's dangerous.
Narres has a
Well,
point.
I'm afraid that this bodes ill for the lands for the coming year if the animals that we rely upon to feed the stead are showing up as dead before the year even begins, that does not feel good.
I
the
can't
desert
tell how old this skeleton is, unfortunately. It looks brand new, but that means nothing.
Means nothing.
It's awfully clean to have been killed by a predator as well.
So, something man or other, not beast, is what you're saying. Or implying, at least.
Killed it, cleaned it, repurposed it, it seems like.
Man or
This
magic.
has to be connected to a disappearance. There can't be a coincidence like this.
Or we have two problems on our hand.
What will be the first place to start?
I can follow you upon the trail that I believe Aronwith would have taken on his sacred time ritual.
Yeah, that'll be a good place for us to start. The boy was a bit forward the last time I saw him, but we don't want him to end up like this rabbit.
Give me 5 minutes and I will be ready to go. And then she will just start digging a hole for the rabbit to properly bury it.
Very good.
I'm gonna chill with. I'm gonna stay with Narres and say a little death prayer for the skeletal rabbit.
There's a few things we could look at for that, for flavor. There is Narres' worship skill under the magic section. There is I think ultimately we're going to end up with somebody needing to make a peaceful cut under knowledge, which is essentially the releasing of any soul into the back into the circle of existence.
I'm not good at that one.
I was going to say, chances are, if you'd want to augment it, possibly with some help from your companions, and see what help they can give to give you a bit of a boost, as it were.
I could sing a song, a ritual song.
Absolutely.
Since we are putting the rabbit back to the earth from which it was born.
I miss the songs of Yanioth. I would love to hear one.
Would I be able to use my runes again, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Is that like a thing you can repeatedly use? Okay. So I'll use my death rune again if possible.
Sure. Yeah.
Is there a rune I can use to boost my song before I do it?
Since you mentioned you're singing an Earth Burial song, how about your Earth rune? The square.
I failed by 1.
Yep.
Okay.
So far, basically between, maybe it's just that Narres is possibly overstretching her connection with the Death Rune, even though it is quite good, within such a short period of time. But fortunately, that misstep is corrected or brought back into line by Yasana's mournful dirge that she quite passively produces. It's no operatic final aria necessarily, but it's a decent effort. Does anybody else want to?
Would someone like to do the peaceful cut?
In which case, yeah, it's just a straightforward peaceful cut.
I was going to do the worship Gura mold, but if somebody else wanted to do peaceful cut.
Yeah, sorry, yes. By all means.
My magic focus is on life, so I'm not very good at a peaceful cut.
Yeah, me neither.
Fine, I'll do it. I grab a small hunting knife and I attempt a peaceful cut.
Okay, well that's
30, 21 under 30.
Ooh, okay. I was going to say,
Nice.
can we have Narres worship roll as well, just to see where we end up in the midst of things? Beautiful.
16
Thank
out
you.
of 57? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't remember what my number is. There's a
Look
lot
at
of ups
us.
and downs here.
16 out of 50, so that's 20, so that's the 21 out of 50, so that's still just a regular success. So yes, the soul of the rabbit is in the view of everybody, safely delivered into whatever the rabbit afterlife is. Not really quite sure, but you're sure that it's gone wherever it's supposed to, at any rate.
The great Warren in the sky.
Indeed. Possibly something to do with lots of minsels. And Langrock says, I will be back just shortly. I should go and prepare. And he's going to wander off into his stead and basically grab all his Orlanth adventurers adventuring gear. So he comes back out fully accoutered. He's got a suit of iron chain compared to the bronze and leathers that you have. So intensely magical, innately magical armor. He has an iron broadsword strapped in his sword belt around his waist. Heavy booted sandals, that sort of thing. I assume that the group of you basically, you have about half an hour or so to gather whatever gear you feel you're going to need. Langrock does warn you that, especially since you'll be heading out towards the swamp, that you're going to have to go on foot, unfortunately. He doesn't want to risk beasts of burden getting caught in the quagmire.
Definitely grabbing my boots and a thicker cloak, because it is cold out here.
I'm appropriately dressed, but what I will do is, and I guess I probably would have to make a roll for this. I'd like to cast Pathwatch on the trail as we go, and just keep like a constant 100-meter radius ping sensor for enemies, since he's already giving us a trail that we're watching.
Absolutely, that makes perfect sense. That's probably going to be based on your Harmony rune, I imagine.
Great, awesome. Yes, sure. That's Harmony sounds great. Yeah, definitely 16 under 50. So
okay, so you as you head out, you ping up the Pathwatch.
no more small skeletons crawling up in my boots for the rest of this journey.
Well, if you find any within whatever meters around you, point them out.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
scale on
you're
here
better at that
is
than me,
up, by
Runepainter.
the way. Just before people wonder. Apparently, I managed to not get the scale set off, but you head off along the western path out of the village, skirting the northern edge of the river valley, until you come to Dead Tree Wood, which overlooks Vivamort's table. As you enter the copse, you can feel the soft squishiness of the ground beneath you, turning from the solid bedrock of the Sartar hillsides into the softer peat of the marsh hinterlands that lead into Delectice Marsh and form that invisible barrier between life and undeath in the region.
Along the way, I'm singing just quietly singing some kind of travel song about the secrets of the earth. And it comes to a very abrupt halt as my boot sinks down into the soft ground. I'm like, oh, damn it.
Looks like the Earth caught another secret.
I shoot him a look as I pull my boot out.
Come on, you guys, stop fooling around. That's what I'm scared of, okay? There's a bunch of... They're dead, but they're not really dead, you know? Come on, just like...
And with a soft plop, you manage to pull your boot out, still attached to your leg. It's so far it's just snow-covered peat as opposed to the full-blown grippy mud mossiness of the swamp proper, where you're not sure from step to step whether the ground is pulling you down or whether you're trying to pull yourself up from it. And it's one of the copse and wood ahead of you lives up to its name in that it's a stand of birch trees. But given that it's the turning of the year and you've been through the depths of dark season and the heavy snows and the roaring gales of storm season and the cold, chilling rains, what you see is an expanse of skeletal white tree stumps sticking out of the ground, black branches reaching out as though reaching into the heavens, hoping to regain life. There is an almost unnatural stillness about the air as you enter the copse. And I'm going to just quickly make a quick roll. Oh, okay. And you notice that as you're walking, Langrath is quietly, just rhythmically chanting underneath his breath and making hand gestures almost inside his skin coat. And as you're walking in this black and white, with the white snow over the dusty grey ground landscape, you're not quite sure how it happens, but you blink and realize that where the colors were muted and grey and browns. They're now sharper. They're whites, they're blacks, they're ochres, they're umber. The blue in the sky almost has a glow to it. Yelm, the sun god in the sky, is not just a glowing orb, but you can swear that you can see his golden bearded face glaring down on top of you. And you look across and you realize that whereas previously the forest or the copse was quite a limited expanse on the top of this riverside cliff face, it now stretches as far as the eye can see in all directions. Now, this isn't the first time that you've stepped onto the hero plane. The time of the gods, the era before time itself existed. But it's still a very forceful realization that you're now truly stepping inside of the myths that underlie the very fabric of your world, as opposed to merely living inside that fabric. And the first thing that I need everybody to do is to go ahead and make a track roll.
I was going to say, I'm going to need some Gloranthan hallucinogenics to take that realization in a positive way.
Okay.
We're lost.
I'll learn to use Roll20. Fortunately, Langrok, being an Orlanthi Adventurer's Rune Priest, has a 90 track, so things aren't quite as bleak as they seem. But at first, you're just taken aback by the sudden shift of the lands around you as you truly feel connected to the proto-hero, and I use that in the genderless sense, within you. And Langrok says, I believe it's this way, and he starts leading you off through the trees. And you're not quite sure if it's after a few hours or if it's only after a few minutes. You crest a small rise and look down into the next dale. And you can see a group of skeletal deer backed up sort of towards the top end of the vale, being harassed by 4 large humanoid creatures wield, but bestial creatures. So, but they have goat's legs, furred bodies. They're wielding spears. 3 of them have goat's heads with horns on them. One of them has, you quickly realize, a wolf's head that has been stitched on badly.
And they don't trigger the path watch. They just themselves are being attacked by others.
Correct. At this point,
Yeah.
not the path watch isn't triggered.
Gotcha. Okay, so they're not dangerous. We can go pet them. Tell everybody.
Well, also part of the reason for that is that you're over 100 meters away at the moment.
Oh,
But
okay.
sorry,
Never mind.
Yeah. You have to, if you move up, well, I'll be honest, the zombie brew are going to ping the path watch.
Okay. So
the
probably
goat-legged creatures and the zombie beasts, as it were. But the skeletal deer don't appear to ping it.
Leading into the others, what's our play here?
we should return all of them, but they're a priority. It seems that the goats are more dangerous than the deer.
We take
Or
care of the
creatures,
goats and then
sorry.
the deer.
Yes, I would love to. Dazarim?
Sounds like a plan.
What would be the best role to correctly identify what these satyr-like creatures are, and if they are capable of communication? To be a knowledge of
Homeland lore, I would imagine.
homeland lore. All right. I would like to give one of those a whirl and attempt to communicate before attacking. That's a 16 under 35.
Yeah. These very much look like the archetypal monster of foul bestial chaos that plagues this and all the other lands, the brew. Offspring of the mistress of the seas, Malia, and her evil partner, Thed. They're basically completely bestial and really only have one target in life, which is to destroy and procreate. And they're well known for being indiscriminate in that sense.
I think we can kill them without any remorse, y'all.
Annihilate them.
I will do my best to support you in that then.
We are together.
Are they just doing combat fighting, or is any magic being cast?
They just seem to be mundanely trying to bring down the deer skeletons, but they're having a bit of difficulty just because there are just skeletons. So it's not like, especially with spears, it's not the easiest to achieve.
The arrows aren't working. Use the hammer arrows.
They're going right through him.
I was gonna
Bring
cast
on the
reflection, but if they're not casting
supplies!
magic.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we make them go to rest?
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Well, you sound the proverbial charge, as it were. The five of you are basically going to be able to. You'll have at least a round's worth of being able to do whatever you want as you're progressing down into the Vale before you actually reach the battle itself. So if you want to cast any spells to for good or ill, that's certainly possible as you're coming in, or we can just, as it were, cut straight into the fight itself.
I
I
want
would
to cast a
only-
spell on. Sorry, I do want to cast a
You go.
spell when we come within 50 meters.
Okay.
I think that's the range on it. Let me check. Yeah, 50 meters. So it's quite far.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
And
what were you
Dazarim
saying?
would just motion. Oh, Dazarim will motion to anyone else in case someone wanted to do a flanking position or remained hidden and out of sight.
I could remain hidden.
In case someone doesn't have
I'll
armor or...
take Dazarim up on that, but I'll pop in later. And I would also like to cast mobility on all three of my compatriots prior to arriving.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would mean expending 3 magic points.
Indeed.
But the good news there is you don't have to make the spellcast roll more than once. It'll just affect the number of creatures.
Is that tied with regular rune?
No, it's spirit magic. So it's if you don't have anything else, it'll be power times 5. There's a
Yes, success on mobility.
okay. Wonderful. Yes, deduct down the magic points. So Yanioth, you were I'm sorry, I misplaced in my aging mind exactly which spell you were casting.
Yeah, once we get within 50 meters, she kind of plants her feet, and the snake tattoos that wrap down her arm begin to glow. And as she brings her arms up, spectral snakes pop up out of the ground around one of them, and I'm going to cast Befuddle.
Ooh, nice.
So it's chart comparison, my power versus their passive power.
Yeah, well, first of all, we have to double check and see if the spell itself goes off. So go ahead and
Okay.
make a spirit magic roll, which will be sort of middle right on the top of the spell section on the main page.
Oh, next to, so it has charisma limit and then cast. That one?
Yeah. Yes, that's the one.
Success.
Okay. So yep. So that works. And then one thing I don't know on this sheet. Just go ahead and roll me a a D100 straight for a resistance roll. I'm sure they have a resistance roll on the sheet somewhere. I just don't know where.
Yeah, I looked it up for these spells. It's my power versus their power compared on the resistance chart, which I have pulled up.
Yep. So basically, if you're the same, then you're looking at a 50-50, and it's adjusted 5% in steps depending on what the delta is. Okay. So that's an 85, 35, that's 7 off. What's your current power?
It's 15.
15.
Mm-hmm.
The snakes start to form up, but they're having, it's as though they're having difficulty getting through the slightly slippery, or the slightly iced over peat layer, so they don't quite manage to form up. So you still end up deducting 1 magic point out of your available down on the far bottom right.
It is too cold out here.
How do I know what my actual armor is? Is that my dodge or is that something else?
Your armor is your dodge is just your slide out of harm's way dodge, as it were. Your armor is, if you look on the man rune towards the top on the main figure on the far left, you'll see a line with AP on it for each location. And that's basically the amount of armor points that you have that gets deducted from the amount of damage that comes in should something hit you.
That was going to determine if I was running as melee or not. That's why I'm not.
I imagine not for Narres, yeah. I can see this.
Before we start battle, can we take a break?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Especially since battles can be somewhat interminate. How about we take a somewhere between a 5 and 10 minute break, and we will return when we do. And welcome back. Very much refreshed and ready and raring for the slashes and slicing ahead. We have returned, and thank you so much for hanging out and keeping with us during that break. Hope you managed to refresh yourselves as well. And we will head more or less straight in to the battle itself. Just for those that are more or less unfamiliar with Runequest as a system, it is quite a simulationist battle system, which is to say that it's reasonably deadly. But each round is divided up into 12 segments, each of which is approximately 1 second in length, also known as strike ranks. And depending on what each character does, determines on which strike ranks during the round they will act. And we basically resolve things from there on in. There are, since this is a physical creature versus physical creature type combat, other variants could include, say, a disembodied ghost trying to attack the very spirit of a character, so more spirit to spirit combat. But since this is a physical to physical, there are a few numbers that are worth keeping an eye on. Fortunately, our Roll20 character sheets have done the math for them. On weapons, it is if you're trying to use a weapon in melee that you have in hand or available, then the strike rank that you would go on is basically the strike rank number for that weapon that's listed on the character sheet. For a thrown or launched weapon, so a missile weapon, then it's merely you get to act sooner. You get to act just on the strike rank based on your dexterity, because you don't have to worry about how far away you are. That's already taken care of by the fact that it's a missile. So missile weapons typically end up going before melee weapons, and spells go somewhere in between the two, depending on how big a spell it is that gets cast. And we'll cover that when we get to that detail, I think. So you've basically started to move into within, say, about 20 meters of the brew zombies attacking the deer skeletons, more or less as a group. Now, I got the sense that at that point you're going to start to splinter out and form more of a tactical unit. Now, Langrock is just going to charge into the middle, swinging his big iron broadsword, and try and disnitify the zombie brew to his best ability, because their brew, he's an Orlanthi Windlord, and, well, that's what Orlanthi Windlords do to brew. We'll see how well he manages. But what about the rest of you? And feel free to ask me, can I, or is there a way to, or anything like that.
Dazarim will charge alongside our tracker friend, to join them in the Vanguard approach in melee range.
Steamroller, got it.
I'm going to stay farther back, but within magic casting distance, and attempt to use the snow to shield my allies if I could, if they're about to be attacked. I don't know if I can do that. That's what I'm going to try.
We'll give it a go.
Gonna stand next to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. I'm going to choose one of the creatures that are not being attacked head on currently, and kind of frustrated try and get my Befuddle spell to catch. So I'm going to try casting it one more time.
Absolutely. How much?
I'll be. And I'll be in the back, and I'm gonna stay next to Narres, but it's to cast warding, so I'll be able to create like an area of safety. So if Yanioth is close enough, she can retreat back as well if she wants to.
Okay. Quick check. Since setting down a warding requires you to put down the 4 warding pegs, one at each corner of the area that you're protecting. I'm assuming you're not going to extend that area into the middle of the melee, but sort of form a. We can retreat to here.
Yeah, it's for the area. It's for the rock corner that it seems like at least 2 of us are hiding in, potentially 3.
Sounds good. Since warding is a rune spell, we will start the round there since all rune spells go on strike rank 1. Since warding is a general spell, so it can use any rune. So what rune would Harmast like to cast this warding with?
So I'd love to use movement to cast it.
Oh, interesting. Certainly.
Yeah, just trying to, because I'm putting down the ward rods very quickly, and I'm trying to make sure that everybody is taken care of. So. Is it success?
Oh, yes, indeed. So the warding goes off. Now, describe for us what the visual effect of this warding spell is. What does it look like?
All right, so essentially, Harmast is going to kind of stand for a second, and whilst putting down the rods, start singing, and call upon Humak to sort of defend me. Even though the God of Death is not normally associated with this movement, I'm hoping that by moving, I can use that rune and call upon him. And then it's sort of like black field opens up, auroras, sort of like, kind of black lights strafing around. So safety is here. Please come if you are hurt.
Very good. And as you finish putting in the final hole, you see the green-blue shimmer in the air, almost like an oily sheen that just you can look out through. Doesn't particularly affect your senses in any way, but you can perceive that there's something there, at least until something crosses it. Yanioth.
Right.
Let's see. You were doing a battle magic spell. So you're doing Befuddle. So Narres and using raw runes to manipulate the surroundings on the hero plane. The mark of a true hero. Go ahead, and I think we decided on the water rune?
Yeah. So just roll that.
Yes, please.
31 out of
smashing.
85.
Absolutely. So as Narres quickly pulls out her paintbrush and draws on her arm a quick couple of ice runes with a water rune underneath. They briefly flash, and all four of you will get suddenly growing up from the ground, creeping up. The thin ice starts to cover you, crystalline, clear, and you all have temporarily, so we'll try and remember it rather than mark it down, I suspect, 2 extra points of armor everywhere.
Nice.
As you're
I'll just like
covered in a
rise it up and be
of-
like, yes.
Yanioth, your befuddle spell. Let's see what happens with the spirit magic casting roll first.
Yeah, so I make sure I stay within the warding that Harmast laid, and I'll go right now. Thank you. This is probably going to keep us alive. And I'll step and spin, and my skirt flares and kind of fluffs the snow up around me in a spray. And I plant my feet and try and pull those snakes up again.
Oof.
Where have my rolls
Now,
gone?
maybe it's the maybe it's the ice that's covering you.
I can't
Maybe
feel the
it's-
earth. There's too much snow.
Exactly. You're completely covered in ice, including the soles of your sandals, thus cutting you off from the earth.
Sorry.
And unfortunately, it's just enough to cause your spell to just fizzle out into thin air. It does, however, still cost you the magic point, I'm sorry to say. So we will swing around to the combat itself. What weapon is... Oh, I'll ask the question this way. What's Dazarim's strike rank for his weapon?
The strike rank? Ooh.
Yes.
Let's see where I can find
is
that
it-
at.
On the front page, all the way down, you have a weapons section. It's the fifth column called SR.
There it is. SR. Okay, the SR is 6 for my Copis.
SR is 6 for the Kopish. Okay.
It's 5
Kopesh.
mobility.
Oh, he has mobility on him. Good point.
Ooh.
Thank you, sir.
Woohoo.
Oh, I like it.
Will... we're brew using spears, but this round we're engaged with them. So the first thing that happens is that Dazarim will get a strike into one of these for brew. Now, you have a choice of essentially 4 targets. However, since you're going to miss, I'm not going to worry about which one you strike on that roll.
Oh, it's a 99.
Indeed. Now, since your base skill is so high, 99 isn't a fumble, fortunately. It can be if your skill is low enough. In fact, had your skill been 70, it would have been. So, we're perhaps it's the fact that the ground is still a little bit slippery, especially now that you're completely covered in ice. Slightly puts you off your balance.
Don't
Well,
blame
the
them
first
for
one was
all
a
of their
warning
failures.
swing. That was just a warning swing.
So we'll do. Ooh, okay. So that will do. Ooh. Okay. Ooh, okay. Next up are the zombie brew. One of them manages to, even though it's wielding a spear, strike the right foreleg of one of the deer, breaking it. And thus slightly bringing it to ground. But more unfortunately, the brew that has the stitched on wolf head strikes out and gets a solid hit in the middle of the sternum of one of the deer, and it just cracks, and the skeleton just falls flat. Next up is going to be Langrock, who's going to go for that same said wolf head. Who's hitting for 10 points of damage to the abdomen. They have that much armor. And he basically takes a large single-handed swing with his iron broadsword just straight across the back of this brew, roughly at kidney height, and just slices in through the vitals. It doesn't quite get a spinal cut, but he brings it down to its knees. It's still up and still alive and still capable of fighting, but it's significantly disadvantaged. So that brings down. Now we have the brew's second attacks, because 3 of them have got horns that they can butt with. That'll miss. That'll miss. That will hit normally for 6 points of damage to where? The 9 hindquarters. And one of the regular brew manages to scrape their horns against the hindquarters of one of the deer, flaking off pieces of bone, but not damaging it significantly. And that's, I believe, the end of the round. So we'll go around and see what people want to do again.
That's a skeleton battle, all right.
Does the ice melt off of everybody?
No, the ice remains on.
Okay.
Since you've basically manipulated the raw materials of the world to create the effect, so it will have at least a few minutes effect, if not longer.
I have a different idea. Since the moon rune is connected to magic, can I try to amp up the magical abilities of Yanioth to see if I can help?
Sure. Yeah, you could essentially augment Yanioth's spirit magic roll with your moon rune.
Okay. That's a success. 48 out of 60.
Yep, that's a plus 20 to Yanioth's spirit magic roll. If she chooses to cast spirit magic, of course.
So I pull out my paintbrush and draw the circle with a line through it, and then just put my hand on her shoulder, and power will source through you.
Mm-hmm. At this point, just because hordes of GMs through time immortal would howl at me were I not to ask the question, Yanioth, on your character sheet under passions, do you have anything concerning the Lunar Empire?
I do. I have a 60 for hate of the Lunar Empire.
Me too.
Yanioth, why don't you go ahead and roll that passion?
Oh no.
I don't know if I want to succeed on this or not, because I don't know what this is for. So is this success just barely?
Okay. With a barely success, you do have a momentary feeling of distaste against the fact that Narres has essentially just polluted you with foul lunar influences. But it's not worse, and you can shake it off as you recognize the benefits of it, but you're ambivalent about it.
Yeah, I kind of give her a look, and then after a second, I'll just nod. Is there still one of these beasts that is not being attacked by our melee fighters, or are all three of them engaged currently?
Currently, that's a good question. Dazarim, are you engaging a separate or the same brew as Langrock?
I am looking for Wolfhead. So Wolfhead was also the same one that they were after?
Yes.
Yeah, we're tag teaming Wolfhead.
In which case, there are two that are currently unopposed, as it were.
So there's
Vanioth.
two that are unopposed? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I hate keep throwing the same spell at them, but it would be really useful to take one out. So I'm going to try it one more time with this help from Narres, even though it's help from the moon. I'm going to ignore that part, and I'm going to dig my feet a little deeper down into the snow and try and get them in touch with the earth. And I'm going to try one more time to pull those snakes up and use Befuddle.
Absolutely. And finally, our Isseries worshipping Harmast. What can we get from him this round, do we think?
I've been thinking honestly, I'm thinking of something. And none of them would be counted as a cult spirit, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, honestly, I'm just going to use kind of like a recreational move. I'm just going to cast Farsi. I just want to get a closer look at what's going on and see if I can scan any details that way.
Oh, sure.
So, roll some spirit magic, of which it is a bare failure.
Yep. So deduct the magic points.
I'm trying to see. I'm like, come on,
Yeah, it's
my hands are supposed to be working, and I can't see.
your eyebrows are just a little bit too wet with the rain and so forth, and the wind. They just keep getting in the way. And anybody who's tried to use unadjusted binoculars, one of the dangers. Next up will be Yanioth with her battle magic. So go those red snakes. Let's see what.
Okay, so I have a plus 20% from Narres, right?
Yep.
Awesome. So that means this is a 90.
You're welcome,
I
and
better
I'm sorry.
make this.
Ooh. Okay.
A 16 on a 90. That's a
That is, on a 90,
special
that is
at least.
actually a special success.
Ooh.
Yep. Now,
What does that do?
had that
Puddle.
been a critical, it wouldn't actually have cost you any magic points, but since it's just a special, it will still cost you the 1 point. So around the legs of one of the two unattacked brew, we see these snakes start to come up and caress the lower extremities. Now, you were maybe expecting green or brown snakes. They are in fact red. But that's maybe okay. It at least seems to have the desired effect in that that one brew sort of just looks up and stares off into the distance, seemingly not quite aware of what's going on around them.
Oh, y'all the other one. Attack that one last.
Next up, we're going to go to Dazarim and his Kopish.
Yeah, I cast Kopish. Let's see if it lands this time. What? Another? Oh, that's a 91 this time.
Yep. Oh, there's something. Maybe it's the fact that it's now gone down. Actually, that's true. It's gone down on its haunches. So you're actually at plus 10% because you've got a height advantage.
Oh.
So that means that it
91 after 95.
So yes, you actually hit. So you do 17 points in its left arm. How?
Very nice.
Oh, 17 is the location roll. Okay. Because it was a miss, it didn't give you damage. Let's see. Do we have a... I'm just going to have you just keep pressing the attack roll until you get a hit, and I'll take that damage. Oh. Did we lose? Yes, lose Dazarim? That's okay, I can go and...
No,
Oh.
think they're popping back in, but
Yeah.
we can.
Meanwhile, I'll go ahead and take care of Langrock. 9. Okay.
Yeah. Dazarim says 17 left arm.
Yeah. Oh, looks like he's back. Oh, it's no, he's frozen. That's the usual. He's fallen off. Okay, 10 damage. That works. Okay. Yeah, just refresh. Okay. So 10 damage in the 17. It's going to be through. Break the arm, but we've already taken him down there. It's starting to look pretty awful by now. Meanwhile, Langrock slices into the remaining one, and yet again does a slice into the abdomen. This time doing nowhere near as much damage, so just really slicing a flesh wound. So Dazarim, that's
6
okay.
damage.
Yeah, you managed to get. I was actually off on the damage. I think so. 1d6 plus 1 plus d4. So I'm taking the 10 from the second one you took there, since that's the rolled one, the 1d8 plus 1 plus 1d4 in that second attack block. So that's going to be you slice quite heavily into its left arm, and it's still around, but it's looking unhealthy. Well, let me correct that. It's a zombie brew. It started off looking unhealthy. It's not looking long for this world. So with that, long run has been Harmast. Harmast is looking around, straining his eyes, trying to see through the mists in this unusually sharp-colored world, contrast turned up to 11 kind of forest. But isn't. Go ahead and make a scan roll.
All right, yeah, because I'm there trying to strain with the magnification settings on my hands. It's not working. And
Okay. No.
I definitely don't see with the scan either.
You quite literally can't see the forest for the trees.
Come on, now they're really broken. Like, the chieftain will hear about this. Clear wines don't stand for this kind of faulty magic.
And we go into the third round. What is everybody going to be up to this time round?
swinging again.
Okay.
Are any of our people hurt? Is anybody injured?
Not as yet,
Okay.
unless
Nobody's
by your
injured, and
people
one of them.
you include the skeletal deer.
That is a good question. Because I know we want to put them down eventually, but are we protecting them for now?
You know what? I actually had the same question. I was like, I know that we want them to like return, but like this without their honor, I don't know, right? Like,
And they might be able to lead us somewhere? I don't know. How are
seems
the
like
deer
it.
looking?
That's
One of them has a fully broken foreleg. One of them is basically down on the ground with a broken sternum, so that one's probably hors de combat. And one of them has a scraped rear hip bone.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to, because even if we don't want the deer up after the fight, them being up now still protects my people, because they're a distraction at the very least. So I'm going to heal one of the deer when it comes around to me. Heal 3.
Okay. Harmast.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna do the same, right? I'm gonna run up alongside Yanioth. We had like kind of, hey, are we doing this? Yes, and so I'm gonna run up out of the warding, leave Narres in the warding, protected. Probably shouldn't be leaving, but I'm gonna do this and then come back and then try to cast Cure Wounds on the one with the hurt sternum.
Cast a heal on the. Oh, okay. Ooh, interesting.
Yep.
And Narres.
I don't know what to do. Everything so far has caused problems. There's one of the creatures that left.
There's 2 upright and 1 down on its haunches.
Okay, the one upright is the one that doesn't have Yanith's thing on it, right? The snakes.
Yes. Sorry, yeah.
Okay,
there's 2 uprights without the snakes, a 3rd upright with the snakes, and 1 on its haunches. One of the 2 that are upright has got quite a major arm wound.
Okay, the one that isn't as wounded, the most healthiest of them all, that isn't entangled by snakes. I want to try to freeze his arms to his body with my water rune again.
Oh, okay.
So he can't attack.
Sure. I'm going to quickly ask what your stasis rune is like. So the bottom left of the circular ones compared to your water rune.
Significantly lower.
Okay.
It's 85 versus 25 for stasis.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, of course it's Narres. So yeah, movement is quite a thing for Narres. Okay, so trying to freeze it rather than trying to. Okay, yeah, sure. So Hamad and Yanioth are also casting rune spells, but they've got to move a little bit before they get there. So I think Narres goes first. So let's see what Narres manages to do here.
Don't fuck
And
this
mine
one
is
up.
spirit magic.
Ooh,
I failed.
yeah.
The runes are failing me today.
Maybe it's
The
just
runes.
there's too much ebb and flow in water, so you using it to solidify something and hold it fast is just that little bit more difficult.
I like to move too much to keep it still.
Indeed. Yeah, you were never one for sitting still. Next up would be what is looking at the characteristics section. There's a column of bonuses and strike ranks. For Harmast and Yanioth, what are your dex strike ranks?
Seven.
Hey, we have a
Or-
raid!
Sorry, where is that at?
If you look on the
Thanks,
main
Shay.
section, the characteristics, so just underneath the runes on the left, but in the middle of the sheet is a column of miscellaneous values of damage bonuses and so forth, and the list of all the strike ranks. It's your dex strike rank that I'm after.
I have 2. I think, right?
That's a 6.
Dex SRM.
Yep.
2.
And 2 for Hamas as well? Okay. So yeah, you're basically gonna go side by side. Harmast is throwing quite a few points in, so I think Yanioth will go just slightly before, so let's see Yanioth's roll. Okay, and which deer were you going for?
Whichever upright one is the most hurt.
Okay. So
She begins humming kind of a slow rhythmic song and pulls her arms up, and little bits of shiny minerals swirl up out of the earth, pushing through the snow and swirl around this deer. And I'm healing it 3.
okay, wonderful. So yes, the broken foreleg magically seals itself together and reknits. It still looks a bit fragile, but at least it's back together and supporting weight again. Meanwhile, Harmast going for the cracked
Yeah, the sternum deer.
sternum, yes.
Sternum deer, as I'm calling it. I was able to put 3 points down and heal 3 and 3 HP. So hopefully, sternum is no longer broken, and we can go back to being regular deer. Skeleton deer, sorry.
Go ahead and make a. Yes, go ahead and make that spirit magic roll.
Oh, no, so I did prior, and I got a 26 under 8.
Oh, okay.
So a 6.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I see it now. I had to 29 out of 8. Yeah, no problem. So, yep, okay. Yes, that is indeed enough to just about repair it. It's looking very fragile, as though the slightest wind puff could probably break it again, but it's at least.
My team is gonna look at this and some little compliments and I kind of realized like this new appreciation for undead life, and that even though something is undead, that doesn't mean that it doesn't deserve a proper burial. And I understand Humok's kind of like point for undead creatures to sort of like granted that death does not have. So
Yanioth and Harmast, as you're standing here, and since you're of Earth and Harmony, why don't Yanioth, go ahead and make an Earth rune roll, and Harmast make a Harmony roll.
done. That's a pass.
Ooh,
Oh, a special success actually for me.
yeah, that is Harmast. we'll come back to that.
Harmonious.
Mainly because at this point, two of them. There's two of them still running around. We're going to do that. Yanioth. One of the brew, the one that's got a wounded arm, that was originally had been fighting the deer that you so nobly rescued, is instead deciding to strike for you, and is so far hitting. Now, you have some different choices you can make. I'd allow you a retcon to say that you could have a parrying shield or a weapon to hand as you're coming in, because you're heading into a melee. Alternatively, you could try and dodge the strike.
Okay. I think before I notice, I'm slapping Harmast on the shoulder, like, good job, you're learning. And then I see it, my eyes go wide. I do have a shield in my equipment. What is my dodge? My dodge is 35. Could I can't attempt something with a rune in this dodge, can I?
Oh, you can certainly, if you haven't used the rune already in the combat, you could certainly try to augment your dodge with a rune if you have a cunning plan, or even a shield.
Yes. What is my shield? If I parried with my shield, would it be the 65?
It would be the number.
It
It would be the number after the P mod modifier. So in the equals column, after the right hand one, most of the percentages.
Okay. Yeah. So my shield is twice my dodge. So as I see it coming up, I'm talking to Harmast, and I turn eyes wide. I'm going to stomp my foot into the earth, and I want to send a tremble to try and help my shield block so that it kind of knocks it off just a little bit. I want to tremble the earth under its feet if I can do that with my earth rune.
Sure. So go ahead and roll your earth rune. Ooh. Unfortunately, you stomp into a soft piece of peat, putting you somewhat off balance. You're actually at -20 for your parry roll.
Did my lunar magic help at all, or is that only the one round?
Unfortunately, that's only acting on her spirit magic cast roll.
Okay, just wanted to double check.
Oh no, absolutely. At this
I
point,
love failing a 90% roll. Okay. Shield -20. So this will be. With that -20
versus 45, so that misses. So that means that I get to roll 1d8 +1 plus 1d4. I get to do 4 points of damage. That's just awful.
You sound pretty happy about that.
But I have 2 armor of ice, though.
Yeah, exactly. into your location 7, so I always get them the wrong way around. Your left leg. So you get to deduct your armor points. and then you
I
get
am
to
very
reduce
thankful for those armor points.
your hit points.
Yeah, very helpful.
Which will be the right-hand most of the two numbers, I think, is the one that you can modify by whatever 4 minus your armor points is.
It doesn't let me.
You
edit
probably have
either
3,
of
4, or
them.
5 in there.
Yeah, it doesn't let me edit either the hit points for some reason. I don't think.
Oh.
No.
Ah. Yeah, for
That's
some
weird.
reason it's... Okay.
I can keep track of it on paper. It's fine. We don't have to hold it up.
Oh, sorry. It's... Yeah. I think it's the WDS wounds underneath it that you can modify.
Okay.
So, but yeah. Now, I'm going to assume, given my disastrous rolling, that still leaves you above 0 in the leg.
Yes. Very much thanks to that armor.
Yay! And even more raiders. Welcome, welcome. We're just in the midst of a battle against a lot of Runequest baddies, various monstrosities. Not quite sure who the enemy really are in this battle, but no doubt we'll see.
What if it's the
I
friends we
assume
made along the way?
Those are the enemies?
The true enemies are the friends we made along the way. Yeah.
You're not showing up as enemies on the radar, so something must be wrong.
Well, I can't fall asleep right now. There must be enemies around.
It's true. Can't travel either.
We're going to... Okay. So... That's it. Dazarim, how are you doing?
I am. Boy, I hit the last one. I didn't get booted this time, and I'm still here. So, in honor of an all-American reject song, I'm gonna swing. 70
okay.
under 85.
Yep. And that will actually be enough to take that one down on total hit points. Basically, you've got a big hit on the arm, a bit hit on the leg. It just runs out of internal ichor.
Ah, my Achilles thigh rumbles.
And Harmast, have another scan roll.
Okay. With my non-Farsi.
Yep, so just straight as opposed to a plus lots. Okay.
Man, these
there's forest. There's
do
trees
not
here.
work. My hands. I'm sorry.
Okay. Unless I've missed anybody, I think that's... Oh, no. I missed somebody. Langrock. Langrock is going to hit... Okay. 10 plus 1 plus 1 d4. What? Come on, Langrock. Really?
Look at that roll. 1 plus 1 plus 1. Oh my. That's one again.
Okay, so sliding in or trying to take out this wolf bruised chest with his iron broadsword, he barely pulls a scratch through the skin. Really, Langrock? Okay. So I think next round.
I have a question. Is there something like attack of opportunities in this game? Where if they try to back out of the spaces, they're gonna get attacked?
Also my question.
Yes. It's not so much it basically it's not that the opponents get an extra attack, just that they will get an attack as you move away.
Can I cast movement on them both to see if that helps them move faster away and make them harder to hit? Using my
It
rune
would
movement?
make them harder to hit. I think it's Harmast. Is everybody? Oh, sorry. You cast mobility on 3. I seem to recall that was you.
Yeah, it was mobility on
Dazarim
Dazarim.
and Langrok.
Oh, so it wasn't me. It was Yanioth, Narres, and Dazarim. And then I have
Oh,
wording
okay.
on for Narres. Mhm.
So, if you wanted to, Narres, you could cast it on Harmast, since the others are already under the effect.
Okay. So I will draw 3 swirls of some sort. I don't know how to describe that rune at all.
It's the Manx wheel, yeah, the movement rune.
Special success.
Oh yeah.
I just paint that symbol. My arms are running out of space with all the symbols on them. And then I just let the wind push towards you to help you move faster.
Yay! Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
That's awesome.
The
movement
okay.
rune part of me is very happy.
Yanioth. Now that you're sort of stuck in the middle of this melee, well, not stuck, but
Yeah, not at all where I wanted to be. How is this battle looking overall? There's one of them down, 2 still up.
It all depends on what your view is of the deer. And now that you've had a few seconds to be in the vicinity and get a sense, it's a good time to come back to that Earth rune roll you made earlier. And you get the sense that these deer aren't dead, they're not undead. In a strange way, they're actually alive. It's like
Interesting.
they're real deer. It's just that they're the skeletal representation of real deer, not the deer representation of deer. And Harmast, you, with your tie to the Harmony rune, you have the same insight.
Okay, that's kind of a big thing.
Yeah, definitely a big thing. Man, the panic in Yanioth wants to blow all of her rune points and go big, but I don't want to do that yet because I don't do that and then the battle will be completely over. So if I try to move away back into the warding, it would be just a strike from them, right? And I would try and block that with my shield.
Yeah. They might have a somewhat of a bonus just because you're moving away, but
Something truly exciting to share. I'd like to tell you about geekaboo.com. And
Okay. What I might have more success with. Oh, this is a risk. I am going to try and befuddle the one that's right in front of me. Because I think I have a better chance of befuddling it than I do blocking its hit. I think you're muted.
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, go for that. You've definitely got a better chance than you're going to go before anybody else.
Oh, do you want me to go ahead and roll?
Yes, please.
Okay. Seeing this thing getting hit on the leg, she steps to the side and tries and wrenches those same snakes up out of the earth. Come on. Ooh, that's a success.
Okay. Now, next hurdle, you have to overcome power, of course. So go ahead and give me a straight percentile dice roll.
Come on, dice. Oh,
71, 75, 5 above. What is your current power?
my current power is 15.
15. Ooh, that is just enough.
Oh, is it snuff?
Yes. Yes.
76 would have been one above what you... Yeah, you needed 75.
Okay, yeah, so I wrenched those snakes up around it in a partial panic. And just let out a big breath and glanced sideways at Harmast. Ooh, that was close.
So,
We're both sweating.
Dazarim, fleet-footed and all that. There is one of the brew left standing. Will you beat Langrock, the windbag Orlanthe, representative of the god who stole, who insulted your god and stole his fires, beat you to the final punch?
No. So
Indeed.
72 under 85.
Yep.
And let's get these dice rolls in. That is 8 total. 1d8 plus 1.
Yeah. Yep, 8 points. So 8 points to the left leg. Okay, and that does it damages it, but doesn't quite break it. Let's see what.
That was a warning.
does.
That was a warning swing.
Yeah. Langrock takes out with a swinging blow the other leg, and between, since it is now a legless brew, it falls to the ground. And you're all standing around, heaving those heavy breaths that comes from the end of a strenuous combat session. As the ground goes quiet, and standing in front of you are the four. You realize also faintly glowing with a sort of greenish light, skeletal deer.
So I think they're alive. I don't think they're actually skeletons. They just look like that.
How can it be alive if
I-
it's just a skeleton?
Can
I
I
don't know.
sense death again?
Sure, go ahead and make a roll.
$15 out of 85.
Ooh, that's special success.
Narres, the three of you, well, the four of you with Langrock, see Narres come creeping up around, I would say through the undergrowth, but there isn't any undergrowth. But perfectly quiet through the soft ground, the mossy peat, and just move forwards towards the back of one of these deer, much as a master hunter would approach a very shy animal. And she just reaches out a hand towards its hindquarters. There is a loud green flash. And in the next moment, Narres is lying 3 meters back away on her back, having been... I can really only use the phrase rejected in the circumstances, as she gets the very distinct feeling that there is very little, if no death about these, whatever they are.
I just look up at the sky. I'm like, a simple no would have sufficed. Yeah, they're
So
very
you
much
tell them
alive.
These aren't even real dead deer. They're fake dead deer. These are photos. It took a while. FUX. Sorry. Dazarim says, "I'm gonna head over here," and just walks away.
I appreciate you.
Oh my goodness. Why is Rune so painful?
So if they aren't
I
dead,
just try to look over
what-
at Narres. Yeah, exactly, and see no death, and I'm like, what are they?
what's going on?
Don't know.
Well, what they are is heading slowly over in that direction.
I guess we should follow. Don't touch them though. It hurts.
I sheath my khopesh and give them enough distance and begin following them.
And eventually, yet again, you're not quite sure, is it a few minutes, is it half a day, is it a week? One of the stranger sides of the hero plane, the god time as it were, is that since it is before time existed, whilst there is cause and effect, time itself is, well, timey-wimey. You come across a cave that the deer have stopped and grazed outside. You eventually venture inside the cave to find sitting bound up against the back wall, the grey dog hunter. You untie him, and between the two of them, Langrok and Asahim lead you back out from the hero plane, back into the mundane, back into Dead Tree Wood, and back to Grey Dog, where you are fated and feasted for the remainder, the last few days of Sacred Time. The last day of which is Prophecy Day, where the Lancor Mai sage on the ring reads the auguries for the year ahead. And included in the auguries is the news that there will be a dearth, if not an outright lack, of rabbits in the coming year. But at least the deer and the other prey animals will roam the hills, thanks to the efforts of the party. And so, over a pint of whatever the characters wish to imbibe, ale, milk, or water, or indeed anything else, we'll draw a veil over this evening's explorations of the Gloranthan wilderness. I've been RqStaffan, and it's been my sincere joy to run everybody through if you go out in the woods today, as published in the Tales of the Reaching Moon, or an adaptation thereof. And let's go around and let everybody know who you are, where they can find you, and what if you have anything coming up. As for me, I can only say the season is getting close. The 24th comes even closer. Monday week after next, 2 p.m. This is the place to be. So, starting off with Anna.
I always forget. I go first on these things. Hi, I'm Anna, aka ArchivalDustbun, most places on the internet. Played Yanioth, the priestess of Ernalda. A little disappointed I didn't get to summon my Earth Elemental to stomp on people, but that's okay. I still had fun. I am a queer and trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG streamer and podcaster. If any of that sounds interesting, you can find me on Twitter at ArchivalDustbun. I have a lot of projects coming up, but the ones I can talk about tonight. Tuesday nights, you can find me over on the Black Feather Guild, playing our Champions of the Fae game, which is a 5e game using the Children and Champions of the Fae supplement. We are playing a bunch of different Fae creatures. I play a very personable and bubbly Selkie sorcerer, who has been a lot of fun so far. So definitely come check that out. If sci-fi mech battles in space are more your thing, you can also find me in Response Team Omnicron, which is a Lancer actual play podcast, following a PR team that finds itself on the front lines unexpectedly in the No Room for a Wallflower adventure setting. You can find that anywhere you normally get your podcasts. It's been a lot of fun. We're going into some of my favorite episodes that we recorded, so you have plenty of time to catch up for those, so definitely do so. But for everything else that's not announced yet, the best place to see where and when I'm streaming is on Twitter, so give me a follow there.
Wonderful. That is indeed quite the schedule. Anthony.
Hey everyone, it's me, Anthony. I stream often here on Weave the Tale. You can find me on Twitter above here at Prainntheplague. So I will be starting a Blue Rose West Marches campaign with actually much of the cast that you see here today for Runequest on the 28th. So come check that out. And that's the big thing I have going on. It's going to be an extremely queer and trans focused kind of like West Marches campaign with queer and trans romance stories and courtly editions and rural night stories. I can't wait for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's what I'm really looking forward to for this season. I have a lot of fun playing Runequest. This is like my second time really playing it, and I really enjoy like the world and learning more about the culture. So I had an amazing time playing Runequest.
It was a fun night. Nikki, how was it for you?
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed myself, especially once I could cast some runic spells there. I'm Nikki. You can find me at Beholdertonoone, where we have 3 shows, discussions of TTRPG community members, one-shots that are indie TTRPG, and actual plays that are D&D 5th edition. And starting January 21st, you can hear me on Awfully Queer Heroes as the DM for Tower of Souls, which is a super deadly campaign, and I'm really excited for it. And then starting in... Words hard. Sorry. Starting in April, Dice Before Dawn, which will be starting up with a Vampire the Masquerade game called Phoenix by Night, and I'm super excited because I've been trying to get that game started for over a year. If you want to see me on other streams, I also stream on 2000 Tales for Weird Web on Friday nights, and I will also be in a charity stream on the 28th for Novi Studios. So if you want to follow me at Beholdertonoone. That's where I shout out everything.
That is an even more incredible amount. Thank you so much for putting your particular blend of runic chaos into the meld tonight. That was grand. And of course, no circle of the moon rune could be complete. The circle of the sun, the son of the sun.
It's me, Daddy's
what was it?
favorite.
Yeah. Indeed.
Hey, it's me, Whatiskiss, aka Nathan Kiss, aka Midwestern Waste, aka Manly Tucci. You can find me on Twitter under Whatiskiss. I stream, I voice act, I real act. Part-time preschool teacher, part-time sex worker, full-time cool dude. Check out Alabaster Kingdom. It is a 5-session horror actual play featuring all queer and POC casts. You can find that just by looking for Alabaster Kingdom. Besides that, hire me, put me on your show. I'm talking to you right now, Kyle. That's all I got.
And so, with the ever-present voices in my head, also known as the producers, telling me that I forgot to tell everybody to go and join the Discord. So go join the Discord. We will
Get in the Discord, Kyle.
We will draw a curtain over tonight's events, and who knows? There may well be more of Glorantha to come. Watch this space. Good night, everybody.